What is the most powerful trait we have? You need power, speed. Let your imagination do the rest.
Undisputed, the Mexican Monster Pack out now.
Boxing King Media, we're here at the Usyk Dubois 2 media workout with my French-Canadian compatriot, Mr. Russ Anber. Bonjour.
Bonjour, brother. How are you?
That's the only French I know. Just on the media workout, Russ. Not a lot from both guys. Typical media workout. Fighters don't really do a lot. What is the point of these media workouts?
I think it's just a different name for a press conference, right? It's just a different thing. Like it used to be back in the day when you had a media workout, it was a half-hour show that the fighter put on, you know, and he talks to the crowd and engages the crowd. Now they don't do it. They get in, they get out. The only guy I've actually ever seen engage somebody was Chisora. You know, he gets in there, he doesn't even work out, brings guys into the ring, gives away tickets, you know, like really promotes the event, right? And that's what it should be for. It should be a moment to connect with the audience. I remember when I worked with Mick Conlon, I did some magic tricks for people in the audience, brought them into the ring, did some magic tricks for them, just to engage the audience, you know what I mean? I like that.
Well, the old school used to do. I remember seeing old clips of Muhammad Ali and stuff where, you know, it was really, everyone got involved, the media got involved, the fans got involved, but it's a shame.
Of course, that's what it should be. This business of just standing in the ring, you know, just throwing your hands in the air is really nothing, and you're not engaging. Not everybody does interviews after. Daniel did one, but they didn't bother to interview Usyk. I don't know why, but, you know, so that's a chance for them to speak to the audience.
Yeah, very true. So both guys, they didn't show a lot, but the stuff I want to talk to you about, I've not had a chance to catch up with you. The first press conference we saw at the launch press conference, a lot of stuff was said both ways. I sensed it was the first time that Usyk looked a bit angry. He doesn't give his emotions away, but he didn't look really happy about Don Charles questioning his faith, you know, asking him which God he believes in. He stormed out the press conference, didn't do any interviews, and he's back again this week, and he's pretty cool and calm about it all.
Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to ask him as to what his feeling was on that, you know. And I didn't like the fact that Don did that, you know, and I think that's something that when the fighters trash talk to each other, I don't really have a problem with that, you know, like that's what they do. I don't always agree with some of the things that they say, but the trainers, managers, they shouldn't be trash talking. You know, they're not the ones who stay in the ring when the bell rings. When the bell rings, they leave. So stop attacking the fighter because you don't stay into the ring. You know, you go down the stairs and your fighter stays in there. So, you know, I just don't know what the reason is to attack the fighter because, you know, you can't do anything about it. It's not my style.
You obviously spend a lot of time around Alexander in camp. Are you expecting him to, like, will he take them feelings into this fight? Will it affect the way he fights?
Well, I think if anything, it probably, you know, it was probably a poke at the bear. You know, I think you gave him motivation and reason. And I remember talking to Sugar Ray Leonard, and Leonard told me when he fought Hagler, he didn't want to do anything to give this guy any motivation whatsoever. So he stayed very quiet. And I think by what Don did just maybe fueled Usyk into preparing and making sure that he's ready to prove that who his faith lies in. You understand?
What do you think of the ring size? I was talking to you off camera. What do you think they will do with the ring size? Will it favor Alexander to have a certain size? Maybe, I'm assuming top of my head, will it suit him to have it bigger? And, you know, do we know what size it will be?
I think whatever it's going to be a standard size. You know, it's not going to be like the ring behind us, you know, so I think it'll be a standard size that will suit everybody. I don't think the ring size is going to make a difference in the fight. I think this is more a question of styles in the fight, you know, and I think this is almost a little bit like the bull versus the matador.
I'm talking of the bull and the matador. How does the matador, who I'm guessing is Usyk, in your opinion, how does he win? Is it a points win, or does he go for the knockout?
Look, I don't think Usyk ever goes for the knockout. If something happens, great. If it doesn't, he just continues with his volume of punching that he normally does and doesn't change anything. So I don't think you're going to see a different Usyk in the way he applies the 12 rounds, 3 minutes of action. I think he's just going to keep doing what Alexander Usyk does and what has made him undisputed champion at cruiserweight and at heavyweight, and to be undisputed again.
He was called an old man by Dubois, which I asked him about yesterday. He didn't like being called an old man because he said in his head an old man is 80, 90 years old, not 38.
You know, listen, like I said, this is all just... Daniel sometimes seems a little bit uncomfortable, you know, in trying to be an antagonist. And he shouldn't, because he's a good guy, quiet guy, a solemn guy, you know. Live with that. That's your qualities, you know. Do that, because that's what your strengths are, you know. Trying to be somebody else and be an antagonist doesn't seem to fit him well. Even when he got into the ring after the second Fury fight, you could sense he was like smiling and as if someone told him, jump in and yell at Usyk, you know. It didn't feel like it was him. So I think he feels a little uncomfortable in that role.
Okay, good stuff. Just finally, I want to get your opinion on the weekend's action. Hamza Shiraz versus Edgar Berlanga. What did you predict before that fight, and what did you think of the outcome?
Well, I expected a tough fight. I'd be lying if I told you I expected it to be a blitz like it was inside of 5 rounds. I'd be lying if I said that. But what I did say when everybody was saying, oh, Shiraz got a gift, oh, the fight against Adames, I said, bro, I don't care if he even lost against Adames. The fact that he did that well against somebody like Adames, to me, speaks volumes. And Adames is a lot better fighter than Berlanga. So, you know, I thought this was a very dangerous fight. Credit to Berlanga for taking it, because he took on a real monster in Hamza. Hamza can fight. There's something special there.
How far do you think this young man could go? Because they're talking about Canelo, straight in with Canelo next.
Well, you know, whenever someone says they're talking about Canelo, the first thing, everybody, you want Canelo. If I get you a contract for Canelo, you're taking it, you know, because that's the biggest payday you're ever going to make. But let's just look at his whole career. Forget about Canelo, because Canelo hasn't made a mandatory defense of a WBC title since February of 2021. So it doesn't matter. He's picking and choosing who he wants to fight. But I think the world is Hamza's oyster right now. I think he's going to command a lot, and he's going to be a difficult out for anybody in the division.
You like the way he comes across and the way he speaks?
Absolutely. I think he's a class act. You should have seen how I was there. You should have seen how well he handled himself at the press conference. He didn't get engaged in all the crap. He didn't get engaged in the cussing and swearing. And Berlanga was more focused on throwing underwear at Oscar De La Hoya. You know, he was more interested in that. I love the way Hamza handled himself.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to chuck Dev in on this interview, because he's been giving everyone, I don't know if you watch Dev's tweets, he's been giving everyone...
I've been banned from Twitter, so I haven't seen...
I'll be there very soon myself, don't worry about that.
Dev's been making a lot of scenarios as to why Daniel wins. I don't know if you want to share some of the tweets that he put out.
I explained that Alexander Usyk, despite all of his brilliance, Olympic medals, world titles, has never actually won a British championship. And I think Daniel Dubois has. Daniel Dubois has done that. Commonwealth, you know, English, Southern area. And Usyk can't say he's won those.
How do you argue that, bro? How do you argue that logic?
How do you argue with Stu?
Yeah. No. I wasn't going to say. I was going to say, how do you argue with where the paycheck is signed, you know? And I understand. It's okay. Listen, this is a fight between a guy who was ready to almost quit after the Poland fight, and Usyk said to him, you're going to be a great fighter one day. And he's bounced back with a string of fights and a debilitating win over Anthony, you know, which plummeted his confidence to the roof, right? He's a new guy. He's a different guy, okay?
The guy for 2 years, he's not here anymore.
Maybe
he
not.
left the building.
Maybe not. And you have another guy who hadn't yet beaten Fury twice, you know, and he's a different guy too. He's a different animal as well. Like that.
Miles on the clock, Russ.
Yeah. You know what?
Training camps, not big guys he's sparring.
Yeah. It's he's never. I don't think the mileage is there as it is on someone who's in wars all the time. You know, he's a good defensive fighter, doesn't abuse himself, not a drinker. You know, I think the miles might be deceiving. You know, he's a Ferrari it's been well taken care of and well tuned, or like an airplane. It gets a lot of miles on an airplane, but they still fly, bro.
Saying about that?
It's still like an F-Reg Ferrari. Great Ferrari. It's just been around a long, long time now. 38. is 38. Now, Lennox Lewis, his last fight was 37. Muhammad Ali, I think 39, but by then he'd gone on too long.
100%.
A lot of greats had left the sport. Tyson Fury's retired, he's younger. You know, greats had left the sport by this point.
Yeah.
That's kind of my feeling, but I understand everything you're saying. You know, he's
It doesn't matter that Bernard Hopkins was still light heavyweight champion of the world at 50, does it?
No, I purposely ignored that.
Oh, yeah, right. Got you. Okay.
Don't bring up
Good.
George Foreman either. That
That's-
kills me. That kills me, that one.
I've got a question for both of you. You know, this issue about what condition he might be in, age catching up with him. Has he shown, because we can only judge it by the fights, has he shown that in any of his last 5 fights? Question for both of you.
Yeah, that's the question that I would ask. I was going to say, you can say the number is there because of the birthday, but there hasn't been signs of deterioration in the ring. You know, now I know sometimes a fighter could age overnight.
That's
It happens.
kind of it, isn't it?
Well, if you're banking on that, that's not a good thing to bank on. But he hasn't shown that oh man, he's slowing down. Oh, he should have blasted that guy out. Oh, he didn't fight as good as he did 2 fights ago. That's not the case. So hopefully he doesn't age overnight, you know, and we get the job done.
To respond to that.
Sometimes it just happens. Russ knows. Russ has seen it happen over the years. I remember Klitschko, actually before he fought Fury, fought Bryant Jennings, and that was a fight. That was in New York. He was so expected to just knock the guy out of there. Who's Bryant Jennings?
Yeah.
This big Vlad. And suddenly he went the distance
Yeah.
for the first time in a while. He started looking a little bit old, wear and tear. Former Olympic gold medalist, world champion, Ukrainian.
Never British champion, though.
He never won the British title, and I think he rues that to this day. But
Yeah.
listen, Father Time, unbeaten.
Yeah, that's right. Unbeaten.
And so
we'll
it's Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium, FYI.
Oh, good. Yeah. And Usyk is unbeaten against Brits, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
The greatest, let's admit, the greatest post ever put up was the one that Derek put up. That said, I guess we all fucked up, didn't we? That's the best one. That's the best one.
Well, TikTok, Russ, TikTok, and you and Don Charles have had a little bit of.
I haven't had any issue with Don at all.
No, but you weren't happy with the way
but I'm
he
not
behaved at the launch press conference.
No, and I'm not happy not only with Don, but I was just explaining that I don't like it when trainers or managers talk trash to a fighter. They can say what they want about their fighter, how great they are, what they think, and I have no problem with. But when you start talking trash to the other fighter and the bell rings and you're making your way down the steps, that's a little bit very disrespectful. The fighter can, because he's going to face the music in the ring. You understand him? He'll face the music in the ring. But the managers or the trainers don't. So it's not only Don Charles, it's anybody. I don't like promoters, anybody attacking a fighter. You have no business because you're not fighting. So shut up.
I just hope you say it tomorrow at the presser, because let's get it going a little bit. Let's get it going a little bit.
But I want you to understand, this isn't about Don. This is about my beliefs of the respect for a fighter, you know, who has carried himself with nothing but class. Why are you, as the trainer, attacking him? Your fighter has a reason to. And that's with anybody, not just Don. Anybody, anytime, when I hear a promoter, a trainer, talk trash to a fighter, that bothers me.
Listen, you know, it's an emotional sport. They would have collectively, as a team, felt wronged by what happened 2 years ago. They've regrouped, they've come back. They're not even talking about it now. But I hope we get something going with you two. I hope for a good presser. I'm hosting it tomorrow, so wish me luck.
Listen, for me, it's about my principles, not about trying to get anything going. You understand? And I know you want to be the antagonist. I get that. But me, it's just about what my beliefs are and my principles as a trainer. And this was taught to me 1979, you know, that, hey, let the fighters talk. Because when the bell rings, you go down the steps. And I'll give you a fight to remember when Mike Tyson fought Lou Duva's kid. Now the name slips my mind. He was talking up a storm. Lou was, and that guy paid heavily for his fighter. You know, so me, I think respect the fighter. I always respect the fighter, and I respect the trainer. If they want to say something to the other trainer, yeah, I'm a better trainer. I can do that. No problem. I'm good with that. But don't attack the fighter. That's me.
Final word, Dev?
Hey, all eyes on Saturday. I can't wait. This was just the workout today. It was bouncing in here for both guys, by the way. Usyk got a tremendous ovation as well. I just can't wait. I think the weigh-in's open to the public as well. It's going to go crazy. And then over 90,000 people on Saturday night. roll on Saturday.
Thanks, brother.
Come on.
The most powerful trait we have. You need power, speed. Let your imagination do the rest.
Undisputed, the Mexican Monster Pack out now.